New deal or no deal? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Banking Bros Podcast, your go-to spot for all things financial with a little bit of fun and a whole lot of real talk. I'm Jay Do.
And I'm Jonah Do. And today we are diving into a decision that could make or break your retirement. It could definitely help you. It could definitely hurt you. The topic of today's episode is when to start taking Social Security benefits.
Oh, boy. That's right. Now, you can take the money at 62 early. You could hold out for 67, ride the wave till you're 70, and you'll get the max benefits at that time. It's a big decision for some people. It is a decision for everyone. So we got you covered with some details and some tips and tricks and ways to think about it, I guess, and how it got here.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, of course, for the episode, it's not a one-size-fits-all answer. So if that's what you're looking for, this is not going to be the episode for you. We're going to actually break it down so you can figure out what's actually best for you. So if you're listening and you're driving or sitting on the couch, right, grab your favorite beverage. Maybe it's a early morning for you. Get some coffee, sit back, and we are going to dive in and talk Social Security. So,
okay.
Go ahead.
First off, let's talk about where it came from. Is it secure?
Let's do it.
The answer to that is...
No.
Not really.
Not
Okay,
really.
Ladies and gentlemen, back in the day, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our president, back in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
How long was this man president?
35.
Jonah.
I don't.
It's up for debate now because he was the longest serving president ever.
Did he get more than 2 terms?
4.
Did he?
100%. He
Oh.
got 4, and then after he died in office in 1945 after the war,
Okay.
Congress said, all right, we're going to cap it at 2, and they amended the Constitution. It says if 2 was good enough for George Washington, it's good enough for us.
Got it.
Okay, now, was this a Republican or Democrat?
I don't remember.
Democrat.
Okay.
Okay, there are a lot of social reforms. The country was coming out of the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
What took us out of the Great Depression?
A war.
A war. That is correct.
Ooh, I got that one.
Yes.
I'm feeling
Okay,
good.
very good. One of...
Kids in the back. Cheer for me.
I don't hear anything. Oh, there they are.
Thank you.
Okay, so a war took us out of the Hoovervilles and the Dust Bowl and Prohibition. I don't know. I'm trying to put everything together
I don't know.
from all the movies. So here's what happened. There were a lot of people who needed help,
Mm-hmm.
100%. The reason for that is debated. And on a podcast like this, if you are into history and the economic downfall of our country, due to the government's programming, you will disagree with the masses. You will disagree with the masses on how all that happened. But what happened was now the government says we've got to make sure as we become more industrialized, the population has something to live on in money
Sure.
because they don't farm anymore.
Yep.
So now, because they need money at 65, or, well, they thought everyone was going to die at like 66, but we need to come up with a program. And that is what we know today as Social Security. So this is Social Security Administration, so Social Security Act 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
All the amendments, all the changes and stuff like that.
They've got supplemental security, which is part of Social Security. They got all sorts of stuff that falls under Social Security.
All sorts of stuff.
Disability, Social Security disability, is that what you call it?
For sure.
Something like that.
There's
Yeah.
all of these. So what's going on here is most of you know that there is money that is coming your way based on contributions you've gotten taken out of your paychecks over the course of your working lifetime that you can now get back, basically, over the course of your retirement years. And there's a couple ways that it works, and normally people realize this is not the money that is going to give me a full life.
Yeah.
These are just supplemental dollars.
Yeah, so actually, let me amend a little bit about what you said because it's actually a really common myth. A lot of people assume that there's this pot of money that I individually contributed because the Social Security tax comes out of your paychecks. So you get to see it on a line item right there. And so they assume that when they turn their retirement age, which is another thing I have to talk to you about because this was crazy to me when I figured this out. I had no idea that this was a thing. But they assume when they turn their retirement age and they want to to collect Social Security, it's what they put in, and it has nothing to do with what you put in.
I didn't think that, but do you think there are a lot of people who do think that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they're so frustrated at the dollar amount, because they're like, I made lots of money, or I had a good job and I paid Social Security for 40 years
Right.
or whatever. And so it should be X. No, it's not based on what you individually contributed at all. It's actually based on your earning history and how long you worked. So one of the things that you might not know is you don't actually qualify for any Social Security benefits unless you've been working 10 years, at least 10, paying Social Security. So just in case you had some sort of cash only got out of it because of tax code,
Or
hired the family,
women,
you know, that sort of thing.
Who went home to raise the family, and they don't have a combined 10 years. Now, this is a cumulative deal.
Yep.
They're supposed to keep track of it.
Yep.
That you are going to get back what you earned. That's crazy to me. I didn't think people actually thought that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure many of us don't understand how the government systems work anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the other thing that a lot of people don't realize, I definitely did not realize. Now, I'm not of your retirement age, but I've talked to some people and tried to help them understand. I'm a big proponent of just going to the site. So I love me an irs.gov, and then you just search for what you were looking for and read the rules on it. So I recently did this with one of our clients that was about that time and was kind of asking, what do you think about Social Security? When should I take it? And this is the first time in helping this client that I ever realized what full retirement age is. Do you know how this works?
Do I know how it works?
There's legitimately on irs.gov like 3 blanks. You type in your date of birth, so you know your day, your month, your year, and then it spits out based on when you were born what your full retirement age is. Our full retirement ages are not the same. So meaning if we went to take we both hit 65 and we want to take Social Security, oh, well, that's not your full retirement age, so you're not going to get it.
Wait, why is mine different than yours?
Because of your date of birth.
Because they've changed the rules. They change it because people are living longer.
There you go. So full retirement age, I should go to the website and see if we can put it in.
Pull it up.
But
pull it
full
up.
retirement age was crazy to me when I learned this, because I just assumed, 65 or 59 and a half or something. No.
Not at all?
Not even, no, at all.
Okay, very good.
Literally, full retirement age might be 69 in 2 months. Like, it spits it out that clear for you.
And it tells you the day, maybe, based on your birthday?
I'm not sure if it tells you the day, but it tells you your age.
Okay, so how many of you, first off, in the comments, let us know, knew that? Full retirement age is different from Yo Mama to Obama. We want to know if you knew that first, and then you can throw it down there. So as we're searching this, we want to remind you that you can follow us on all the platforms that you love. For our podcast, for our vodcast, the video version, you're going to be on YouTube as well as all our socials. You might find us as the Cash Compound, depending on where you're looking. That is our full suite, the vault of all the information and education. And you'll also find us at the Banking Bros. That's Jonah and I, the leaders of the club here at the Cash Compound, where we coach people into code-cracking cash flow. Jonah, back to you.
Yeah, so one of the other things that I think we should talk about, you gave us a little bit of the history on Social Security, came in around 1935, but another thing that people should know, just kind of as a baseline here. So Social Security, like I mentioned to you previously, it comes out of your check. So it's actually 6.2% of your wages are going to go through payroll taxes to Social Security. So if you're self-employed, this is something that the tax professionals talk to you about all the time. If you're self-employed, you're actually paying 12.4%. because it's supposed to be 6.2 from you as the worker and 6.2 from the employer.
Right.
Both go to Social Security. So if you're self-employed, you actually pay 12.4%. Now, there are some fun things that you can do. Talk to a tax strategist about how to get out of that. That's one of the things that a lot of tax strategists talk about, getting out of FICA and FUTA taxes, Social Security, or at least lowering it because you're self-employed. But a lot of people, again, think because they've got the 6.2% coming out of their checks that I contributed this much and this is how much I should get, and that's just not how it works. So I thought that was at least a little bit of like what we should make sure that people were aware of when talking about Social Security. But the real key here is why Social Security was designed. A lot of people, I feel today, assume that Social Security or maybe some of the other government-sponsored plans in combination are going to be enough money for them to retire on.
First off, folks, not even close.
Right.
Like, think about this right now. If you cannot live or you have debt, you are concerned about your income and outflow right now. How in the world are you going to make it in a potentially higher tax environment in the future, as well as inflationary systems? How in the world are you going to make it?
Right.
Y'all got to think through this. And that's why we're here. So we have a coaching community on our Infinite Bankers Facebook group. It is a private group. We'd love for you to be in there so you can get yourself a coach on our team to walk and talk you through this. Okay, so I want to know about these dates, though.
Okay.
What is my full retirement age?
So I think I've got it here. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. But so here's where we're at. We're at ssa.gov. You can find this if you want to go there yourself. ssa.gov is the website, and it talks about full retirement age. So they actually have a chart here. They got 5 different stipulations or rules on what's going on with the chart. So you were 1960 and later.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
Okay, so your full normal retirement age is 67 for both of us actually currently. Months between 62 and full retirement. So you got 60 months between 62 and full retirement age. I guess 62 is an important year for them. I'm not exactly sure why we've got that. Oh, I'm sorry. You can start taking Social Security at 62.
Right.
That's
Okay.
the figure. So you can start taking Social Security at 62, but if you take it at 62, instead of getting $1,000, if that's what you were
Got it. Okay, if
assigned
that was
for,
your number.
yep, you'd actually only get 700.
So you're getting 70%.
You're reducing
of it.
by 30% if you start taking it then. If your spouse was going to get a benefit, because there's spousal benefits, we'll talk about that just a little bit later in our episode, your spouse would only get, it'd be reduced by 35%.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not realize this when I was talking to a gentleman for the very first time, saying he was maybe 62, 63, and I'm thinking, oh, you're good. Go for Social Security. Like, if the money's going to be there, who knows how long it's going to be there, so go ahead and take it. And he's going, no chance. You can't increase it. Like, once you start, you've started.
Once you pop, you just can't stop.
Right, and you can't increase anymore. But if I wait, I'm doing fine. If I wait, I'll actually get more money. And I had no idea that this was a...
No, I did know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm like, what in the world is full retirement? Like, I'm just not understanding.
Right.
Full
Yeah.
retirement age. But anyway.
First, folks, you got to do your homework on this stuff. As you can see, we are pretty financially savvy, and our education is high, but because personally we've never had to go through this, I guess I've just never gotten into all the details.
Yep.
Half of this information, Jonah, I don't know, and the other half you don't know. So we will help you walk and talk through it, though. It is a free coaching environment around here if you want to be in this conversation with us.
Yeah, it looks like they've got a little bit of different rules for spouses and ex-spouses.
Okay.
Talking about full retirement age and how much you can get. Because spouses do get some. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the episode. You've also got dependent children. There's all sorts of things that happen, and they've got different rules and stipulations on each one. Now, again, it's a government-sponsored plan and program, so it's going to make sense that they're going to have these rules and stipulations. If you're in charge and you've got this big pool of money that's continually being added to by workers and employers, and you need to figure out how to divvy it out, you're going to have a few pages of rules on... I'm not going to give it to you if this happens. And if you're this age and this thing happened, I'm not giving it to you either. But if you're like this, I will give it to you, right? I mean, you've got to, right? But the problem is for the average American person, I consider myself the average American. It's like, how in the world, when did they go through this in school so I knew what the rules were?
I don't think that's what school is for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
how would I figure that? Where was I supposed to go to?
No, I
figure
agree.
this out?
I'm just saying, I don't think that's what I'm saying is I don't think that's what they wanted you to worry about in school.
Well, right. I think they should have given us some options so we could figure some of this stuff out, right?
But I did learn how to line dance in 3rd grade in PE.
There we go. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. So here's the thing. I think that you've got to understand your options when it comes to Social Security. If you are just kind of in the weeds with what we're going on, let me explain. You are eligible to claim Social Security retirement benefits at age 62. However, the age at which you choose to start receiving those benefits does absolutely affect the amount of money that you receive. If you take at 62, there will be a permanent, this is important, permanent reduction of the monthly compensation, the benefit. It's normally around 25 to 30%. We just looked at the chart on ssa.gov. If we were to take, based on our date of birth, our Social Security at age 62, it would be a permanent 30% reduction. If we wait until we are at what they call full retirement age, again, explain to me how it's full retirement age. I don't know. I feel like I'm at full retirement age right now, honestly. But if you wait until what the government has deemed full retirement age, then you'll get your full benefit, 100% of what you were supposed to get. Now, again, it's not based on what you've put in. It's based on actually how long you've earned and some other things. And then if you wait past your full retirement age, so for us it's 67,
right,
all the way until you're 70, so there's a 3-year gap that we could still push it off.
Okay.
They'll actually give you 8% more every year that you wait.
Okay.
So again, if your number was $1,000 and you take it 62, lose 30% of that. You're getting $700. If you take at 67, full retirement age for us, people born after 1960, you're getting the full $1,000 if your number's $1,000. If we waited until 68, 69, or 70, we would be added 8% every single year that we decided to wait. I have no idea if it's 8% on top of the 8% that you got from the last year.
I like my 8% with my 8%.
But that is how the Social Security Administration divvies up the Social Security funds right now. So,
now, Jonah, you mentioned here on a sidebar that people might be concerned whether or not there's any money.
Yep.
And so that affects the way they live, the way they sleep, and their peace of mind.
Yep.
Because it could run out. I think most people probably have heard that Social Security money, there is not a pot of Social Security money. The government and the Fed, who are in cahoots together as a cartel, what they do is they make up money.
Yep.
And because of that, as you can see on your screen, we've got the U.S. debt clock up, and we are in the hole. We are in the hole here
we're
when
not
it
doing
comes
so
to
hot. National debt as of recording of this episode, $36,786,175,000,000 and counting.
growing. Okay, now right below that section here on the left side of the screen, you see largest budget items. The largest budget items are actually Medicare, Medicaid, which is a part of the big umbrella, I believe, of Social Security Act and Social Security. 1.6 trill and 1.5 trill. The money that's getting paid out is way, way over budget.
Yep.
I guess you could say. Of course, wars and stuff like that right next to it are crazy expensive as well. But look how much is going on out there. Right above that section, you can see that this new thing U.S. debt clock has is this Doge clock. I think we've talked about that on a previous episode. And Doge is claiming that they have just canceled all sorts of bogus Social Security payments recently. Have you seen that?
I have. Apparently, there were people 100 and 200 and 300 years old still getting Social Security payments.
Now,
that they found.
The opposition to that said, no, these people actually at Doge don't know how to read code, and those are codes, not ages. But who knows? I do know we're in the hole. Everybody knows that. And we run a deficit on our budget in the trillions, which is wild. Like $2 trillion behind per year? Get out of here. So the interest on the debt right next to our largest budget items, which include Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, is $1 trillion of interest.
Of interest, which is nuts. Can you imagine?
I can't imagine because
$1 trillion
you see all those memes out
counting.
there and all of those AI models of how much money it is just physically. Like if you stand next to $10,000, it reaches your ankle.
Yep.
If you stand next to $1 million, you have 3 piles, or whatever. If you have $1 billion, it's a pallet.
Yeah.
And $1 trillion is your county.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's something crazy.
Yeah. Right.
Man, we've got the thing about it that I think is so powerful for the people listening at home It's just understanding where the money's coming from. Like you've got to have this holistic picture, I guess, is what I want to say. You can't just take each item like Social Security individually and say, oh, it'll be fine because of X. You've got to have a holistic picture. And so looking at the national debt clock, I think, is a good example of this holistic picture. So here's some things that I would say you've got to absolutely consider when it comes to receiving those Social Security benefits. And one is that very real fact of what in the world is the government going to do? Is the national debt going to do? Is the government offices going to do with the fact that we are just running a deficit? At some point, somebody is going to change something, or another country is going to come in and intervene. Something has to happen. It cannot continue like this, right? So that's one thing you've got to pay attention to. On a personal level, you've got to pay attention to, I think, maybe 4 things. One is, of course, life expectancy, right? So if you anticipate living a longer life, especially after you retire, so we're talking about full retirement age or anytime after 62, your benefits delaying the benefits, right, could result in these higher cumulative payouts. So if you're healthy, maybe if you've gone to one of those holistic doctors who say you're going to be around till 80 or 90, right, maybe you delay Social Security. If you believe it's going to be there, you delay it so that way you can have a higher dollar amount, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe if you've listened to our channel before and you've started to develop these cash flow techniques, so you have income coming in, cash flow coming in, you don't actually need to rely on the Social Security, and that gives you another reason that you can actually delay, right? The second thing I think, maybe you'll talk about it here, Jeremiah, is just your need for the money, your need for the income.
Most of the time when you're talking to a typical financial advisor or planner, which we are not, they will ask you to assess what you think you need over the course of your lifetime. That's a fair question. However, it's preposterous to think you can figure it out.
Yeah.
How many of you have ever overestimated how much money you need in any given situation?
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, on something small, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were saving for the TV,
right,
you can overestimate.
However, in a month, how many of you have ever overestimated a month or a quarter or a year? Probably never. So your financial needs and your expenses, how much does golf cost or vacations, or how many of you will actually be taking in family members to help them because they haven't planned or they just came up on some unfortunate circumstances, poor, unfortunate souls. That is a big deal for people who now don't have to work. They potentially have more time, or they're working part-time, or they do have some supplemental income because the people working hard for the money, so you better treat them right out there, are not able to have anything coming in passive.
Yep.
So if you have anything coming in passive, or you love your family, or you realize you are now matriarch, patriarch, there is a need for finances on a level you can't possibly anticipate.
That's right.
How much do groceries cost in your retirement?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so here's the third one I wanted to talk about. This is one of the ones that I have the biggest heartache with, all right?
Okay.
So it's your employment status. So get this. A lot of people get to that age, 62, 63, 64. They need to keep working because their retirement plans, Social Security included, are not enough money for them to live on, right? So they're going to continue working. Okay, so now we've got an older person, let's call him 65, that is continuing working. Oh, but wait, if you make too much money and you're working, you don't qualify for as much Social Security because you're above the income thresholds.
What a catch-22.
Correct. So then, because you needed more money and are continue to working, we have to reduce the other money that you were getting because you're still working. So that reduces only until you reach the full retirement age. So if you're taking it at 62 and your full retirement age is 67, like it'll be for us unless they change the rules, if we are still earning, and again, it's not like, I got a paycheck. It's like what the tax says at the end of the year. Yeah. If you make this too much on your taxes at the end of the year, they're going to limit how much you can take out in Social Security because you're over the income threshold. I think that's crazy, but Anyway, you've got to take that into consideration, your employment status. How much will it actually be? So, again, a recommendation for you at home, go to ssa.gov, type in your year, look around, figure out how much it'll be, because you can do that on that website. That's important.
And the fourth one is your spousal benefits. Many of us out there are married, and we've tied the knot and tied our financial situation to our partners. So how does that affect what you're going to get, when you should take it, and the total benefits, the dependent benefits?
Yep.
Some of this, of course, includes things like the disability, dependents and things like that. So the spousal benefits, the family benefits, and things like that are all factors along with everything else. So you need to have someone walk and talk you through this. And honestly, we have to get better at understanding this, because more and more of the next generation above us, the previous generation, I guess I should say, are really trying to figure this out, as they are now boomers entering the retirement phase of their life, many of which are scared to take the money. They're scared to take it because they think they're probably going to live a while.
Yep. And
they're realizing, wow, I don't want to take it too soon.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it too soon.
So T. Rowe Price, which is a retirement and investment sort of firm, they've got an article on retirement planning that actually says that if you wait till age 70, you'll increase your payments compared to 62 by 76%. That is such a significant increase.
Right, but at the same time,
can you make it?
Yeah, can you make it?
Right.
Are you going to be healthy? Do you need the money? It's an annuity, right? It's a pension type annuity program. So, I mean, how long are you going to live? Right. Well, wouldn't it have been nice if you ended up dying at 71? I mean, we all understand we don't know when we're going to go. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to take that money when it was more valuable at 62 and it bought more rental properties so you could have more income? We don't know, but we do understand that if you're relying on Social Security as a major part of your needs, you are going to have to ask yourselves these questions. If you do not have the income, the passive income, the retirement, or the guarantees, you're just going to have to play this game.
There you go.
And of course, let's talk about another group of people. Our lives were, as grown up, were centered around a lot of people in ministry who could opt out of this.
Yep.
And so that's a whole nother factor. And I have seen, unfortunately, people who believed in big government and believed in the trajectory of the stock market, I guess, over the course of the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yep.
They just assumed the money that was going to come in would be enough. And so they made other plans, did other things, opted out potentially of Social Security, and now they are in trouble. There are a lot of people like that. A lot of people.
There you go.
We reach out to you.
So if this is the first time of you listening to our channel, or if you're an avid listener, maybe you're binge listening as you're driving or just getting on the train learning something, here's what we recommend. First, we absolutely, the title of the episode, right? We absolutely recommend understanding what's happening out there, especially in the government-controlled space, so you can plan accordingly. Very hard to plan if you don't know what's coming. Right? If you don't know what's coming, very hard to plan. So that's a little bit about why we did this episode on Social Security. But here's what we recommend while you're making your way toward that Social Security age, whatever that age is for you and whatever you decide to take the money, is to create cash flow. Create cash flow in your life, because cash flow solves these problems. If my Social Security was supposed to be $1,000, but I decided to take it early at $800, or I decided I could wait till it was $1,200, it is no big deal if I had so much cash flow coming in that I wasn't going to notice the extra $1,000 anyway. Right?
Yeah.
If the extra $1,000 was just going to go to the kids or grandkids or to the fund to take the cruise or whatever, I'm just not going to notice if I've got cash flow coming in. So instead of going through your working career, paying your Social Security, crossing your fingers, hoping all these external factors go your way and saying I should have enough or that should really help me and relying on that, we're saying take your finances back in control. Take your control of your finances back in your own hands. That's what we are saying. Go create cash flow. Learn passive income opportunities. Learn where to save money. Learn how to invest money if you want to. Learn the things that we're here to teach you and tell you, because that actually makes all the difference. It's a complete different game if you've got concrete, confident, guaranteed thoughts and answers in your life and in the way that you operate your money before you get to these ages, and you go, well, I already know exactly how I'm getting where I'm going, or I know exactly how much I need, or I know exactly when I should take it or when I shouldn't take it, and you just answer these questions well before you have to, or where you're on the hook because you got in trouble and it's the decision-making time right now, or else things go bad, right? And that's what we recommend here on this channel. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and learning all about Social Security. Please, seriously, go to ssa.gov. Use some of the calculators there. So they've got a whole page of calculators, Jeremiah. So let's read off some of these calculators here. We've got the My Social Security Retirement Estimate calculator.
Interesting.
The Retirement Age calculator.
Right.
The Windfall Elimination Provision calculator, the Government Pension Offset calculator, a detailed calculator. It just says detailed.
All right. Now, hold on. Read the definition for everybody.
All right.
Get the most precise estimate of your retirement, disability, and survivor benefits. This estimate includes the WEP reduction.
Mm-hmm.
Must be downloaded and installed
It's
on your
the
computer.
Windfall
Okay.
Elimination Provision
Which I've never heard of that calculator
Yep.
either. Interesting. Early or late retirement, earnings test calculator, benefits for spouses, life expectancy, online calculator, as opposed to
I don't know. Maybe the rest of them, you got them trying to make you download.
maybe,
I don't
and
know.
the quick calculator. Very interesting.
But all of these are available to you on ssa.gov. We think having the information, the knowledge, understanding what's happening all around you while you control where you're headed, control your own path, but you've got to understand where you're driving, right? I want to go the direction that I want to go, but I do need to know what's happening outside my windows. Right, that's important, is what we're encouraging you there. So before we kick off the episode, we do want to give a quick shout out to our fan follow of the week.
Kimberly Ruff on YouTube. Find us there and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications and drop us a line. How old are you, Kimberly? We don't normally do this and ask the ladies, but we got to figure out when you're going to retire so we can help you. What's crazy about that name, Kimberly Ruff, here is I have a Facebook friend named Kimberly Ruff.
There you go. Maybe
It's not her.
Oh, okay.
No, not her. I can see the picture.
2 Kimberly Ruffs out there.
Love to see it.
Well, thank you so much, honestly. It's a wrap on today's episode for the Banking Bros podcast. We hope that you feel a little more confident about deciding when to start Social Security, or at least understanding why it's there, how it works, and now you've got some helpful resources to help you go figure it out.
Remember, it's not just about when you claim, it's about how you go about it. There are so many factors in there, and all of you who are getting toward that age are starting to think of it. So do your homework. Talk to one of your coaches. We'll walk and talk you through on a customized plan so you look at your entire system holistically and get the foundational elements in place so you have guarantees, growth, and cash flow. That is still a part of what we do. We'll talk to you soon on the next episode of the Banking Bros podcast.
You are now tuned to the Banking Bros. Said we couldn't make it, drink or settle, this the life we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer, we taught you how to be the bank.
Deal or no deal, or new deal. That's what we talked about here on today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. There's so much to know before you grow your cash flow. So make sure that you understand how these elements, like Social Security, taking it when, how, and what your family needs, are very much a part of your knowledge base before you make the move that you'll have to deal with for the rest of your whole life. We'll talk to you soon.